Welcome to Bigger Than You, the podcast to help you go from overwhelm, self-doubt and scarcity in your business to the calm, grounded and unshakably confident version of you that's going to bring your vision to life. You've got a mission and a purpose that's bigger than you and your limiting stories and beliefs. So let's get you out of your own way. I'm Jenna Holloway, your host and multi-award-winning intuitive hypnotherapist and mindset coach. Expect to hear game-changing perspective shifts on how to align your subconscious mind with your boldest goals, and will unlock the power of energetics, infusing it into every aspect of your life and business for maximum impact. Are you ready? Then let's dive in. Hello, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm coming here on a Sunday night, which is very unlike me in terms of, I wouldn't normally be working on a Sunday night, but I want to get this done and out there because tomorrow is the start of a working week and I have my masterclass coming up on Wednesday and Friday this week. So for me in my business, I haven't actually done a proper launch for a long time. It's been over 2 years. I remember launching. By the way, let me introduce this. This episode is going to be about how to stop being a workaholic, and I'll get into it in a minute. But quick backstory: I'm recording this on a Sunday night because I've got a lot to do because I'm launching and doing a masterclass this week. And yeah, quick backstory: I haven't done a launch with a masterclass since the start of my business, which is well over 3 years ago now. And quick backstory is that I did a live launch right at the start of my business. I've always been a little bit sort of all in. I don't know how I made this decision, but I remember right at the start of my business, even before I'd qualified as a hypnotherapist, I had this idea that I wanted to do a group program. And I set the date, and right back then I was in network marketing and had a huge network of people that I could help, and I saw this gap, and so I decided to launch a group program and set the date even before I'd qualified, and it was basically the week after I qualified. I was so sort of all in with it all. And yeah, really completely at the start of my business, absolutely winging it. And it was fantastic. It was a sold out launch, and it went really, really well, but it was a lot of pressure and it was intense in terms of my energy and what it took to do that. I think I did a 3-day challenge in a free Facebook group that I used to have. And yeah, it took a lot. There was a lot of pressure, and I didn't like it at all. Like I say, it was really successful, sold out the group program. It went amazingly well, but I didn't like how it felt in terms of how much energy it used and the pressure and everything. And back then my girls were not even 2, I don't think. And so, yeah, I've pretty much avoided launching since then and done it different ways. I've started a group program, but just sold it through my content, or I've done a masterclass, but no, I have done one, but yeah, not in the same way. And yeah, so this is the first time I'm really going for it, and it feels so different, so different. But there is, of course, a lot of work to do, isn't there, in the lead up to it. And so that's kind of my runway of my week. I've decided to do a 2-day masterclass, Wednesday and Friday, and yeah, still a lot to do. So I decided to do this podcast episode this evening, and I wanted to do the title of How to Stop Being a Workaholic. And I've just put a post out on Instagram talking about the difference between what it felt like for me to run my business right at the start of my business, i.e. when I did that launch, versus what it's like now. And the huge difference is my energy, my mindset, my beliefs, and how that has completely changed, because I no longer work from this programming that success has to be hard, right? That's the whole post was about that. And so I wanted to bring some things, just some key messages that I say over and over again to my clients. Don't know if it comes out a lot in my in my content. Definitely would. If you listen to my podcast regularly, you'll have heard me say these things. But yeah, I basically needed to do a podcast, and I asked myself the question, how can I let this be easy? And I thought of a post that popped up in my Powerhouse Portal group recently. One of my amazing clients is finishing up in Powerhouse Portal. She re-signed, so she's basically been in there a year, and she was just like in her last week, and she put a post in the group, and it said, I'd love to make something for me to always remind me of my favorite Jenna sayings. And so she put a few, and then she asked everybody else, like, what else should be on the list. And we've got this brilliant list of things that I say over and over again. And so yeah, I wanted to bring them into a podcast episode, and maybe riff on them a little bit. So here we go. And I thought, how can I tie this together to make this into a podcast episode? And it essentially is the journey from where I am now versus where I was. I used to be a workaholic, and now I'm not. Now I create my success from a place of ease and flow and fun and light energy. And everything that I share with my clients is what I embody day in, day out, right? It's fully automatic. And so, yeah, these sayings just have evolved as I've just found myself saying them over and over again in so many different contexts. So yeah, let's get into it then. So number one, I'm always fully supported. So if you're new to my world, I am really, really, I strongly believe in the fact that we are not alone here, in the sense that, this planet Earth, and like, we're not just, running our own little life in isolation. We're fully supported, and we're all energy. And so I, like, when I work, I'm very intuitive, and I like bring things through, and the fact that we can do that, and we're all connected, and we have this higher self and intuition and spirit and guides and all of these things, means that we are fully supported, right? Always. And so when things happen, like when challenges happen, they're not happening to us, they are happening for us, so that we can grow and learn and basically evolve and up level. And I always see life as a journey and a way to just constantly grow and learn and evolve. And if we're not learning, then or if we're not evolving, we're not growing, we just stop. And that's like, well, some people don't see it that way. I think if you don't see it that way, then you have a victim mindset, and you're like, why is this happening to me? And you can't grow and evolve like that if you're stuck. Like, when you have challenges, you're stuck, and you're thinking, this is happening to me. Oh, why is this so hard? It's just such a victim mentality, and you definitely will not grow and evolve like that. But when you can shift that mindset to a place of, when things happen that are hard, you ask yourself, why is this happening for me? And then you can see the lessons, and you can learn the lessons. And it's when you learn the lessons that you evolve as a person. Your mindset changes. Your identity can change if you work really hard on it. Then you can see it as you are always being fully supported, right? And so with our sort of human brains, you only see things happening right now, and often it doesn't make sense. Like, if you're really in a hard place and something's happening and it just doesn't make sense, I always come back to the fact that we're always fully supported, and quite often it doesn't make sense, but you trust that it's happening for you, and that you are fully supported, and that it's happening for your highest good. And then you get further forward, and you look back, and it all makes sense. Okay. And I hope that you can take what I'm saying here and look back in your life and see this kind of play out, having played out for you. Like, I completely believe that around my journey, and like the really hard years I went through, like me and my husband went through to get our girls, that changed me. Like, they were the hardest years of my whole life. But it changed me so much, and it made me who I am today. And there is absolutely no way I'd be doing what I'm doing now if I hadn't gone through that. And yeah, I find it fascinating that I um, wanted to get a tattoo. This is years and years ago, even before we even started struggling, before we started trying for children. I wanted to get a tattoo, and I was just drawn to wanting a Spanish proverb. Like, I was studying Spanish at uni at the time, and I was just drawn to wanting something in Spanish, a proverb. Didn't know what I wanted really. Did some research and landed upon the equivalent of never give up. It's quien la sigue la consigue, and it just essentially means like the one who goes after it will get it. But we don't say that, we say never give up, right? And this was years before we started trying for kids and struggling, and I was just drawn to having that tattoo, so I got it. And I just remember being stood in my bedroom, in our old house, and like the penny dropped, and this is by this point, like, so we struggled for getting on 5 years, and I that's when like I became spiritual, and really like doing a lot of work, and I went from feeling like I had like a really dark cloud over my head and really depressed and basically in a victim mindset, to becoming really grateful and accepting. And I got to a place where I was happy, still like desperately wanted to become a mom, but I was happy. And I just remember this moment, like after I'd sort of started to become spiritual and like, learning and reading so many books and things. I just remember realizing that I had this tattoo that said, "I'm always like that, never give up," basically. And I was just like, "Wow, okay, I am being fully supported all the way through this." And I saw signs, and yeah, basically coming back to the fact that we are always fully supported. And when you realize that and you look for the ways in which that is true, you see it more and more and more. Another thing that I say to my clients is for us to have the mantra, because where this comes from is your subconscious looks for evidence of what you believe to be true. So where you focus your attention and your energy, you will get more of that, because you're basically programming your mind to look for that. You're setting that intention. You've got this part of your brain called the reticular activating system, where if you set an intention, you're basically saying, "Hey, subconscious brain, can you look out for this for me?" And your subconscious will then do that for you. So when you start to have mantras in your life, like "everything is always working out for me," then that goes on to this reticular activating system, this filter in your subconscious. And so you start to program your mind and create the reality where everything is always working out for you. And it's just amazing. You think about it, a belief is just a thought that you've thought over and over and over again. So you've created those neural pathways in your mind, and the more times you think that, you strengthen those neural pathways, and then it just becomes hardwired, and that is what a belief is. So yeah, everything is always working out for me is such a great mantra to have in your business, when you're in your life in general, right? And when you adopt that, and you start to think that, day in, day out, everything is always working out for me, what you can do to strengthen that belief is that when something happens and you recognize that, oh, something's just worked out for me there, you say that out loud, right? You strengthen that neural pathway, that neural connection, by affirming that belief when you see the evidence that that belief is true. And it doesn't need to be the big things. It can be the tiniest things, such as be like the parcel guy arriving just before you were due to head out. And if you had headed out and the parcel would come after you left, well, you would have had to go down to the post office. Well, no, he arrived or she arrived just as you were leaving the house, and you're like, "Oh, brilliant, got my parcel. Everything is always working out for me." Okay, so it's in those little moments, and the more you train your brain to see that, the more you will create that reality for yourself. Next one, divine timing is a thing. This is so, so true, because there are lessons for you to learn, and your human brain will decide, like you will consciously choose your goals, right? You're like, "Oh, okay, I really want to achieve this by this date." Okay, wonderful. But what if, in order for you to create that reality for yourself. In order for you to align to the person that is a match for that, you've got some learning to do first. If that's the case, then those lessons need to come first before you can be the person that is a match for that thing. Okay, so this is where it like, if you want to not be a workaholic, you need to have that trust that everything is always working out for you, that you're always fully supported, and that divine timing is always at play. Okay, and you can get to a place where these beliefs are so like ever present in your life and your business. And this is where I am, where if I make a mistake, like I'm trying to think of one that I've done, like for example, this is years ago now, but or last year, I had an IG collaboration, Instagram collaboration in the calendar with a really, really lovely person that I connected with. She's called Eleanor. She might listen to this. And yeah, we just connected. We just were aware of each other, like liked each other's vibe, and decided to do an Instagram live together. So we set the date, and I remember that I made a mistake, got the time zone wrong because she was would have been an hour ahead, and I thought it was an hour the other way. And so basically we needed to be going live when I was doing bedtime with my girls. So obviously that wasn't possible. By the time I put my girls to bed, I opened my Instagram and saw that I'd basically missed this live that had been advertised and everything. And rather than make myself wrong about it, or, be really upset, or, frustrated or embarrassed or any of those things, rather than being in that mindset, I was just like, wait, divine timing is at play here. Everything's always working out for me. There is a reason for this. I apologized. We rescheduled. I didn't make myself wrong. There's just literally no point in making yourself feel bad for a genuine mistake. She was fine about it. So we set the date for about a month down the line. And the most incredible thing is that by the time that next IG collab live date came round, I had pivoted my business. And she was her niche was business owners. Mine wasn't. When we first scheduled the live, mine wasn't. And I was working with business owners, but my marketing was not business owners at all. I was working with business owners in my one-to-one space, but it wasn't the main focus of my business. But by the time that next live came around, it was. And so it was, divine timing at play. And it was just really cool to watch and really cool to see that kind of thing unfold. And that kind of thing happens all the time. So look out for it. Look out for practice, first of all. When things go wrong, practice affirming that everything is always working out for you and that you are fully supported. And just try to detach from the heavy energy of things. Get into that mindset of, why is this happening for me? And if you don't know, you just trust that you're being fully supported regardless. And you ask, what am I supposed to be learning here? And then you just trust that divine timing is at play. And you won't necessarily understand it in that moment, but get forwards a little bit, look back, and you will understand it. Same goes for any challenge I faced in my business. It served me. It's helped me grow. It's helped me up level. And I certainly would not be having the type of clients that I attract now, or I would not have the type of business that I have now if I hadn't leveled up in all of those ways. So yeah, you just trust divine timing is always at play. You're always fully supported, and everything is always working out for you. Next thing is really, really hard if you were attracted to this episode by the title, How to Stop Being a Workaholic. This one will come really hard to you because, and I'm going to use this opportunity to plug my masterclass this week. My masterclass this week is called Become the Match. It's on Wednesday and Friday. It doesn't matter if you're not around to watch it live. It's at 1 p.m. UK time, but you can sign up and get the replay. And in these masterclasses, I'm going to be showing you how to really amplify your awareness of your subconscious programming, right? To help you spot the things that you're doing that up until that point you've been doing unconsciously, spot them, work out what programming that comes from, and then how to shift that programming. Because if you are a workaholic, there's subconscious programming that is at the root cause of that creates that reality for you. Okay, there are beliefs that you have on a subconscious level that determines the actions that you take, because 95% of our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions are unconscious. Okay, so we don't know why, we don't necessarily understand why we create the reality that we do, but we do because of our subconscious programming. So how to, like, my journey from being a workaholic to being in the place that I am now has come from reprogramming the beliefs that caused me to be a workaholic. And now I am completely unavailable for push energy in my business. This week here is about as close to it comes to push energy, and it's still not push. Okay, because so, building up to this launch, I've got a lot to do, but I'm still asking myself all of the time, and this is another thing to share with you, asking, how can I let this be fun? Or how can I let this be easy? Those are two key questions that I run my business from, and I teach my clients to run their business from. Because you don't have to have push energy in your business to create your success. And I still work hard. I work really, really hard. But the energy underneath the work that I do now is very, very different from that push energy and that lack energy that I was really, really stuck in at the start of my business. So yeah, I asked myself, how can I let this be easy? And how can I let this be fun? And that is what creates the success with ease that I have in my business now. So yeah, for example, this podcast is super last minute. I feel like I found my groove now and I'm like on a roll, but I had a thought about 5 minutes in, and I'm totally happy to share this with you because I love being an open book. But I remember thinking about 5 minutes into this episode, fucking hell, Jenna, this is crap. This is waffly. This is, I just didn't think it was very good at all. But I soldiered on, and I didn't give any weight to that thought. I noticed it, but I didn't give my power away to it. I didn't give any weight to it, because there's just no point in giving that thought any energy. It's not going to help me, is it? I'm not going to go and stop this and stop the live, because that would be coming from a belief that I'm not enough. Okay. And that's another thing. It's not in this, maybe, I don't think it did come up anywhere. I'm not sure, but that's another thing. I've done the sort of belief work on myself to reprogram, to have the belief that I am always enough exactly as I am. Okay, so when those thoughts come in that, well, this is rubbish, or people are going to think this is waffly, yeah, those thoughts are still going to pop in from time to time. Like, we're never ever going to get to a place where we turn off those negative thoughts. Like, that's just not going to happen. I still notice them, but the difference is I don't let them change how I show up. Okay, I notice them and I let them fly on past. Just like when you notice a noise and it doesn't stop you in your tracks, and you don't start to change your behaviors because you notice a bit of a bang going on outside or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, you notice it, but you don't let it affect you. And that's the difference. I can only be like that because of a combination of all of these mantras and sayings that I'm sharing on this episode. So I hope this is making sense. And I hope you also feel that I have found my groove and we're on a roll here. Right, next one. I'm not available for that. my amazing client, she's the one who started this post. She was like, she's like, another one is, I'm not available for that. And she was like, I'm not available for that on a hoodie. And I was like, ooh, this got me seeing merchandise for the future for my brand. But yeah, that's another one. I'm not available for that, right? It's like, when stuff happens, you get to decide. Everything that you are doing is a decision, right? And it's either an unconscious decision or a conscious decision, but we get to notice and we get to spot. Okay, and we get to have an insane amount of self-awareness when you know how to grow that level of self-awareness. And if you're interested in that, sign up to the masterclass. I'll put the link in the show notes, by the way. So yeah, you can notice things and you get to choose your reaction rather than having unconscious reactions and unconscious emotions, which can lead to a situation where you feel triggered as a business owner and you feel like you are not in control of your emotions and your thoughts, and they end up spiraling and taking you out of alignment, or take you out of your path for where you want to be. So many times I hear where people, they're like, yes, got my big goals, know what I need to do, and I'm just going to focus and I'm going to go all in. So they do that for a certain amount of time, 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever it is. And then something happens. They either get triggered or they manifest something like an illness or something that stops them in their tracks, and then they pull back. Okay. And that doesn't have to be the case, but the reason that happens so often is that you're hitting an upper limit, and your subconscious is basically ringing alarm bells, because it's like, if we carry on like we were doing really well here, you were all in, but I'm not on board with where you're going. I don't want you to achieve your goal, because I believe that you achieving your goal will mean that you won't be happy, or you achieving your goal, whatever it is, let's say 10K months. I'm talking as if I'm your subconscious mind here. If you carry on the way you're going, you're going to achieve your goal, and you believe that being successful and wealthy will mean that people won't like you, or you'll be found out because you're not really good enough, or whatever it is that the subconscious mind believes. When the subconscious is not on board with the things that you want to consciously achieve and experience, if it doesn't feel safe for you to have that, then it will not let you. And this is where the cycles of self-sabotage come in, or the manifestations of the dramas or the things that get in the way. Okay? The subconscious is creating your reality all the time. Okay? So that's where we have to get the subconscious mind on board. All right? Get it to believe that you will be your happiest, healthiest, most fulfilled, most aligned, fully, shining bright, happiest self when you've achieved your goals, or whilst you are in the process of working towards achieving your goals. Like, if you have your subconscious believing that, that's when it's going to feel amazing, right? That's when you're going to feel like, of course you can achieve what you want to achieve. That's when it's going to feel like you're creating the life of your dreams and nothing's going to stop you. That's what it's going to feel. That's when it's going to feel easier to just carry on regardless and not need external validation in your external reality. That's when you become untriggerable, right? That's when you can have neutrality in your business, when nothing is going to stop you from achieving what you want. And you're centered, and you're grounded, and you're balanced. You live your life. You can adore your business. This is the place that I'm in, right? I adore my business, but I have a really full life. It's not everything. It's not the be all and end all. I'm not a workaholic. I work hard, but it always feels good because I choose that, right? My decisions are coming from a place of success gets to come with ease and flow and fun. And I believe that I'm always enough, exactly as I am. So, have we got anything else here? Yes, another one of my clients mentioned was that I think I always say, which has come up already. How can I make this easy? How can I let this be easy? Another one, they said, always put yourself first. Yeah, that's them talking about the higher self system. That's my one of the frameworks that basically I have 2 frameworks in to make things really, really easy. I just wrote down, I created a framework basically about 8 months ago now, maybe more. I was like, I want to create a framework to make it super simple to live and have the business, the energy of the business that I have, like success with ease, flow, and fun. And I was like, right, okay, let's just write down how I do it. And that's when the higher self system came about. So yeah, it's down to putting yourself first. If you want a sustainable business that it doesn't require push energy for you to succeed, then of course you need to meet your own needs first, right? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of those needs matter before your business. Oh my goodness, I've just seen the time on my episode, 29 minutes. Okay. I will have to stitch another bit because I'm not quite done yet. So I will do that in a second. And so the other thing was, apparently I asked this question a lot. Are you in alignment right now? Like it, when you practice, when you work with me, this is in Powerhouse Portal or my one-to-one spaces, you get to be able to recognize when you're in alignment or when you're taking action from a place of lack or fear. Okay, whenever we are taking action from a place of fear or scarcity or lack, you can't be in alignment. You absolutely can't. Alignment is like ease and flow, right? If you think of a river flowing, when we are not in alignment, we've got tons and tons of rocks in the river, like stopping the flow. Can't flow, right? When you're in alignment, things come with ease, so much ease. And in order to get the rocks out of the river, we need to work on our limiting beliefs. Because if we are taking action with a limiting belief that is making you take an action, right? For example, I said earlier, I thought the beginning of this podcast was super waffly and a bit rubbish. If I believed that I wasn't good enough unless I had a script or I planned this episode better or whatever, if I believed that I needed to do it a certain way in order for this podcast to be okay to be published, then I would have hit stop and I would have started again and it would have taken me hours and all of those things. Can you see that those actions are being taken from a place of lack because I don't believe that I'm enough to show up exactly as I am. Okay. So a massive part of alignment, and this is another thing, this is an episode for a different day, but just quickly, a massive part of the alignment piece that I think people miss all the time, like nobody knows this, is in order to be properly in alignment, you need to work on your limiting beliefs. Because if you've got limiting beliefs affecting your actions and affecting the decisions that you are taking, then how can you be in alignment? You'll be taking those decisions from a place of lack, and you're either in alignment or you're in lack, right? So a big part is spotting what the limiting beliefs are. Well, spotting the pattern and the behavior that you are doing, for example, being triggered, noticing where that's coming from, what's the root cause of that, and then shifting that. And this is exactly what I'm going to be working on in like teaching and going deep on in the Become the Match Masterclass, Wednesday, Friday this week. Link is in the show notes one more time. Right. Okay. So where are we at? I think we're nearly there. Oh yeah, this is not something that I say, but this is one of the things that my client has put. I guess it's what she thinks often is like if she's in a situation, she's like, what would Jenna say about this? And yeah, I hear that a lot. And that's great because like, okay, it's really, really important here that you understand what I'm about to say. Because when my clients are thinking, what would Jenna say? When I work with people, it's not about them getting to do things my way. It's about shifting the mindset and the belief systems to support you and be in your favor at all times for you to have what you want in your life and business with ease, flow, and fun, like light energy, i.e. being in alignment all the time, right? And never holding yourself back. So when my clients are thinking, what would Jenna say about this? It's not that I'm telling them to do things a certain way. It's just them getting themselves in the groove of, right, what does it look like to be in alignment here? What does it look like? What questions do I need to ask myself to be able to be in my own power here? And obviously, in order to be able to do that automatically themselves, they're going to, between where they are now and where they're going to be automatically is just asking like, okay, what would Jenna say here? Knowing that and then taking action from that space. Okay, it's really, really important that you know that I do not create codependency in my world, and that I always trust the learning to trust yourself fully is so key, because it, if you don't fully trust yourself, this is one of the real pillars of the work that I do, is to really fully trust yourself. Because if you don't, then you're always going to be giving your power away, not trusting yourself. So I'm going to invest in this coach and do what they say because I don't trust myself. No, right? That's why once you've worked with me, you don't ever have to invest to fix yourself again, because you learn to fully trust yourself and you invest from a place of desire, right? So important. So yeah, like I say all the time, I make sure that my clients learn to trust themselves. So of course they can listen to my guidance, but then they put it through their internal filter and they work out what is aligned. And when I mentioned earlier about alignment being skewed by limiting beliefs, we raise that level of self-awareness so that you can work out if the action you're about to take is coming from a place of lack, i.e. a limiting belief getting you to do the action that way, or whether there's a different action, one that actually is an alignment, but maybe there's a limiting belief piece to work through first. Clear that so that you can take the expansive action, maybe the one that scares you a little bit, but actually is in your highest good. Hang on, I've just had a question. Oh, hello. By the way, we are live on Instagram, so I just had a question to answer. How do you get out of the mindset, what will that person think or say? Such a good question. You get to the place where you basically don't care, right? And I really love working with business owners, and this is where it matters so much, because ultimately when you are a business owner and you know who your dream client is, who's going to get that dream transformation with you, and you only ever speak to that person in your content, right? It doesn't matter. Other people can benefit from your content, but you are really only truly speaking to one person, right? Your ideal client, and you are calling them in. So what you need to do is get to a place where you trust that everything you say is for your ideal client and nobody else matters. And then you get to a place where you believe that you are enough, exactly as you are, to be the perfect person for your ideal client, to give them their dream transformation, right? So when you believe that you're enough exactly as you are, you let what needs to come through. If you trust your intuition, and if you don't yet, that's something else that we work on when we work together, but you let what needs to come through, and you say that, you speak your truth, you show up boldly as your authentic, fully expressed you in your content, and when you share your work. And yeah, that might feel uncomfortable, okay? Because that's new for you. You're stretching your comfort zone of saying what you know your ideal client needs to hear, even though some people might judge you or whatever. If those people are not your ideal client, you need to be okay with feeling uncomfortable. Okay, that's another thing, actually. I'm not sure if that's on this list. I think I need to add it. But get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Because that's how you're going to grow. Your subconscious, remember, doesn't care about your dreams. So it's down to you to create the safety, the subconscious safety, for you to go for what you want. Okay? To get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's a mindset piece. What physiologically in our body, fear and excitement, actually the same thing. Right? So if you can channel that uncomfortable feeling as, oh, this is going to activate my dream client. My dream client's going to read that piece of content that might be a bit spicy, and they're going to go, yes, I'm so glad somebody has said that. Or yes, I needed to hear that today. Right? So when, if I get that feeling, if I'm writing something and creating some content that's a bit spicy, or I think somebody from my dance class might see that and think, oh, that's a bit much, or whatever, I can be aware of those thoughts, but it comes back to me not giving my power away to those thoughts or not worrying about that. Because if that person's not my dream client, then it doesn't matter, right? I'm running my business to make a massive impact in this world. I'm running my business to change people's lives and to really show up for my dream client. So I need to not give a shit about anybody else, what anybody else thinks of me. Because if I care about that, I'm going to hold myself back. And I'm not going to make the massive impact I want to make. Okay? So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay, other things. My husband Tom heated up some dinner for me about 40 minutes ago. So I'm going to have to reheat it again in a second. I totally just wanted to do a short podcast episode, but here we are. We got going, and I love it. Once I get going, I love it. So hopefully, I really hope this has landed for you and you found it helpful. Right, I think there might be one or two more. What have we got left? Everything's happening for you, not to you. Yeah, we covered that. You're exactly where you need to be right now. Yes. Okay, so when things feel hard and you're like, oh, why is this thing not happened that I wanted to happen? You're like, right, okay, I'm being fully supported right now. I trust that this is supposed to be happening, and I might not understand it right now, but it will make sense as it unfolds. And you stay in your empowered mindset rather than your victim mindset. Okay. Next one, we are meaning making machines. Yes, that's such a good thing for you to remember. When you feel a heavy emotion, basically, something else I just want to start from, because if you've heard the podcast a lot, you'll have heard me say this over and over again. But if you're new, you need to understand that nothing in life is positive or negative, right? Just is. Everything is neutral. And it's our subconscious that takes in our external, whatever's going on around us, and makes meaning of it based on what we've experienced in the past and what we believe about ourselves. Okay, so we let's say then we feel triggered by something. Let's say, for example, somebody has said yes to working with you, and then you send them the payment link in the DMs and then just completely ghost you, and you feel massively triggered by that. You're like, oh, what did I do wrong? Like, oh, that's so rude, or whatever it is that goes through your mind. You're feeling triggered, and that doesn't feel good. What you want to do then is you ask the question, what am I making this mean about me? And that massively helps you to understand what the root cause, what the belief might be at the bottom that's making you feel that way. Because if you didn't have that belief, you wouldn't feel that way. You'd be able to feel neutral about that. Okay. And yeah, all about, this is why their healing work and this inner work is so powerful as a business owner, because when you do it, you can become virtually untriggerable, and that means that you can just have so much more fun and just have so much more impact and momentum and growth, because you're not holding yourself back, draining your energy, feeling triggered, or slowing yourself down because your subconscious is like, nope, we're not doing this, doesn't feel safe. That's why I believe so much in my work. Anyways, we have reached the end of the list, and so I am going to leave it there. One final plug again for the masterclass, Become the Match. If you have, regardless of where you are in your business right now, you will find the masterclass helpful, whether you are right at the start of your business or whether you have been around a while. If you feel that you are not really reaching your full potential, hate using that phrase, but if you really feel like there's something that you've wanted to achieve by now and you've not done it, then be at that masterclass. Okay, if you feel like you're holding yourself back in any way, shape, or form in your business, then sign up. Because, like I said, 95% of our thoughts, actions, and decisions and emotions are unconscious. So you need to get that subconscious on board. You need to raise that self-awareness so that you can become the match, right? When you are the match for your goal or your big dream, then you're going to let it happen. Right? you just got to get out of your own way. I saw a quote online that I just absolutely loved, and it said abundance is limitless, right? And you probably have heard that you can have anything you want. Like, abundance is absolutely limitless, but we limit ourselves, right? We create the blocks. We stop that alignment. We stop magic and miracles and so much from happening because of the limiting beliefs, like the rocks in that water. So we need to get the rocks out. That is what the masterclass is about. Okay, and it's not going to be surface level. We're really going deep. I'm actually going to be doing some subconscious work on the masterclass. I'm so excited. So yeah, Wednesday and Friday, 1 p.m. Sign up. And it doesn't matter if you can't make the time. There'll be replays available. They'll be sent out. If you can be there, then great. But obviously, it doesn't matter if you cannot. Just sign up, and you'll get the replay emailed to you. What else do I need to say about it? There are prizes available, prizes of up to £1,500 for you if you are there. And I'm not going to share about this yet, but basically, when you sign up, you get invited into a Facebook group just for the event. And in the Facebook group, I'm going to share about how you can get an entry to win one of those prizes up to the value of £1,500. So excited. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to go and eat my dinner now. So thanks for being here. And there is one other thing to plug, because I recorded a new outro last week. So if you want to be in with a chance of you feeling lucky, listen to the outro and implement. Right, I'm going to go now. Thank you for listening, as always. I appreciate you. And I love to hear from you. If you want to send me a message, I would love to hear from you, because otherwise you're just a download number and I don't know who you are. Yeah, I'm going to go and have my dinner now. I will speak to you soon and hopefully see some of you on the masterclass on Wednesday. Ciao. Thank you so much for tuning into the Bigger Than You podcast. Don't forget to follow and subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. And by the way, Bigger Than You wants to grow massively this year, and for that, I'm going to need your help. Everyone that shares today's episode will be entered into a draw to win a free place inside Powerhouse Portal, which is my 6-month signature mindset, energetics, and subconscious mentorship program, and is a 4-figure investment. All you need to do is share this episode to your stories on Instagram, tag me at I am Jenna Holloway, and share why you loved it. See you next week.